Good evening. Welcome back to the same old room, which means that, yes, sadly, Basel is officially over. But it also means I've managed to stick all of the different wires and stuff back together again in the correct way that you can both hear and see me. Welcome all to the stream. I already see. Thank you so much, Carlos, for the $5 and for the thanks. We will both be in Vienna, and we'll obviously come to that. It's been a week. It's been some time to decompress. I feel less apocalyptic than I did 7 days ago. I've had some time to think, and we are now in our post-Eurovision thinking phase. But of course, it's difficult to do that by yourself. So therefore, I have brought on the two most wise and careful, most retrospective thinkers who never jump to any conclusions and who are extremely reasonable in all of their opinions. It is, of course, Jay, a common feature on this channel, and also the world's angriest man, ESC Gotham. Welcome, both of you, back. How's post-Eurovision depression going for both of you right now? Or is it post-Eurovision relief? What are we thinking?
It's relief.
You are so loud.
It's actually relief. Oh.
That's right, I got you. Continue. It's relief?
It's such a relief. Do you know why? I got back to England, I saw the prices of everything, and I was like, oh, thank God, it was all a dream.
You do realize
everything was so expensive.
You still spent all that money, you know. Just because you've come back here doesn't mean that none of it happened. Like, it was real.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. Gotham, how are you?
It has been a relief, honestly. I kind of cannot believe that it's over now. We have been waiting for months and months and months, and now it's just done. And because for the first time ever, I was in person attending Eurovision, it just feels like it was a dream. I just genuinely cannot fathom that it actually happened.
It was a dream. It
was a dream.
It would have been a dream had Iceland won Eurovision. I'm sure we'll come on to that. I turned my mic up. Sorry about that. I always forget. I always set it to... I had it on video mode because when I'm doing videos, remember, I sit here and I'm like, and I'm yelling, sort of, you know, veins pulsing head and all that. Whereas when I'm on stream, I speak in a much more relaxed and calm way. As you all know, I'm a very relaxed and calm person. Yeah, no, I am also I'm half feeling relief. I'm half sort of like, well, what do I do with myself now? Because as I'm sure all of you are having the same thing at the moment, you spend all of this time, I've been so in the sauce. Like, I think this year was the most in the sauce I've been. And I think this is probably the same for all three of us. And now it's like, well, what is it that I'm meant to do with my life?
Agreed.
What have you been doing now, Jay and Godwin? What have you been doing with your newfound freedom?
Absolutely nothing.
Bro has been going to work. Bro has a job.
I've been going to work. Yeah. No, so I worked yesterday and today. The rest of the week, I can't remember what happened. I did nothing.
And Godwin, have you been doing anything nice?
No.
Just
I've just
rotting.
been crying in my room again.
Yeah, same. Oh, and Jay's blurred out. That's interesting.
What has happened to me? Okay, you know what? Let's just do this.
It's like you're a character that
go.
hasn't yet been unlocked. So I'm going to show you something to terrify you. Just so everyone take a deep breath. Horrifying. This is the leaderboard of Eurovision 2025 that we're going to be taking a little look at today. Firstly, Cole, thank you so much for the donation, asks, quick question, on top of your head, what tiers would you add the 2025 songs onto your first, second, third, and last place tier lists? I would tell you, but I'm probably going to wait until next year and then do an update video where I add all 8 of those songs to the relative tier lists. So, there's a lot of surprises in here, and I think I've thought about a way to do it in which there are also going to be plenty of polls.
Of course.
Because we all love a poll. But I think we're going to start, we won't start at the top, we'll start at the bottom. And we're going to go through sort of, now we've had a week to reflect on, okay, did this deserve to finish in this position? Who deserved better? Who deserved worse? We're going to do, for each poll, for each entry, we're going to go through, we're going to make the arguments, and then you guys are going to decide, did this act deserve better, worse, or about right? And I think we know where this is going to go for a lot of these. So we're going to start from the bottom with Tutta l'Italia by Gabri Ponte, which is interesting to me because if you look at the way the voting worked out for this, only got to the final because, I need to go to the semi-voting for this. San Marino there, only got to the final because it got a big fat 12 from Italy. Without that, absolutely stuffed. So yes, carried by Italy. Did you feel it deserved to go to the final? We'll start with Gotham. Did you feel it deserved to go to the final? And if so, did you feel this was an appropriate position for it?
No, it did not deserve to go to the final. Oh. Like, the thing is, we're 5 minutes into the live stream and I've started my hating already. I don't know. I just think San Marino got really lucky by having Italy in its semi-final. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation, as it wouldn't be up there in the final whatsoever. I don't know. It's meh to me overall. Like on the third listen, when this got picked, I couldn't stand it anymore. It's really not my cup of tea. And I honestly think when this qualified, I just thought to myself, oh, this is one of the worst qualifiers we've had in a long, long time. And to me, 26 seems about right. Because, again, as I said in my video, where is this going to get points from other than Italy? And that is exactly what happened.
True, and it got 18 points from Italy, which is a pretty impressive haul. That said, Gotham, you got to admit something. We were in Arena Plus in Basel. You have to admit that this was fun in Arena Plus. In that stadium full of people dancing
But a lot of
around.
things were fun at the Arena Plus.
Yeah, a lot of things were fun.
yeah,
You
but-
enjoyed yourself, Gotham. I saw you bopping your little head, having a little boogie. I know Jay was the same at the other end. At least I presume you were, Jay,
yes.
because I feel like you like this slightly more than Gotham does.
It's fine.
Well,
Again, like...
Jay,
Never mind. Carry on.
no,
Gotham, we'll come back to you.
Go on,
Jay,
keep
go
going.
ahead. No, Jay, go ahead. I told you just give your opinions.
okay.
I'm in charge
well,
around here.
This song is fun, but I absolutely agree with Gotham that this song did not deserve to go to the final. Because what is he doing, really?
He's having a little
Let's start
dance. He's
Bro
just
was
kind of doing
playing
this.
Minecraft on that laptop. Just waving his arms around. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's fun, right? It's fun when you listen to it, but in like a competition aspect, it's not really.
See, here's the thing. You just
suitable.
admitted the whole crux of this. I'm starting my first fight with both of you immediately. It was fun.
Great.
You enjoyed yourself on the night. Got him. You enjoyed yourself on the night. I enjoyed myself on the night. It was fun. It was silly. It doesn't need to be more serious than that, in my opinion. And I think that it was about right. And guess what? The audience agrees with me, because over on YouTube, 51% say this was about right, 36 say too high, and then obviously the remainder say too low. 65% say just right on Twitch. Too high, 32%. Too low, 4%. So, overall, it's a fairly positive result for Gargi Pont. And that is honestly about what I expected. The thing is, though, to be honest, I will say I this is one I got wrong because I didn't think it was going to qualify. To be honest, I thought in this semi-final it was going to be them or Iceland. And so especially once Iceland came out, I thought they were toast. Obviously, though, and I guess it would be the same for all of you, I absolutely did not foresee this happening. So, yeah. That kind of threw all the babies out with the bathwaters. Although I have to say, I do find it funny that on one hand, you have the San Marino, look, massive wedge of points to Italy. And then on the other hand, you have, oh, look, it's the Dimitris Kontopoulos Televotomatic in full swing, allegedly. Now, obviously, this is allegedly quite suspicious, but I must say that I'm allegedly pleased that San Marino allegedly came above them because they allegedly played fair. And Cyprus allegedly might not allegedly have. Allegedly.
It's all alleged, to be fair.
Yeah. It's all alleged.
At the end of the day.
And that is the truth of the matter, allegedly.
That is the truth of the matter.
Let's go.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Would you guys have preferred Cyprus over San Marino qualifying?
I think because at the time I didn't know the circumstances. Actually, no, still no. Theo Evan couldn't sing that song. I'm sorry, Theo Evan couldn't sing the song. If you can't sing the song, then you shouldn't qualify. I feel like that is a basic fact. And given Godham's face and his little fingers wagging, Godham, I think you agree with me.
I would rather get in my hands and clap than see Cyprus in the final with this song. So that's all I'm gonna say, because my mother taught me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. And clearly I didn't listen to her. But
Yeah,
this
I was
time
gonna say,
will.
bro has never followed that advice. Never once has he taken that advice. I think the kid, because I was gonna pick another song from those to qualify. Croatia would have been. I think Croatia, because it would have been really, really, really funny. Like, it would have been really, really funny. That said, it would have meant we wouldn't have had the legendary crash out precipitated by a certain ESC Gotham that happened over the last week. This is a bit more of a casual stream tonight, so we can go off on some tangents while broadly sticking to sort of looking at everything a week later and thinking about whether we still think what we think 7 days ago. But Godham, would you please explain to us what exactly happened this week with Marco Bosniak and how you were the one who caused it? I will find the tweet.
What?
Let me preface this off by saying that everything I'm about to say and have said is alleged, and in no way it represents any any employer, any company, any academic institution which I am affiliated with or have been affiliated with. Saying this because I don't want to catch a lawsuit, even though I don't think this man has a lawyer or a PR team behind him. So he who shall not be named, the
Marco Bosniak
Voldemort-looking ass.
Now,
Yes.
let's not be mean. Okay, listen, right? You absolutely cannot come for anyone for being a pale Balkan twink. So continue your story. But you lose on that round. Tell your story. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, me, like all of us, we were at Euro Club. We went to Basel with our friends, and obviously after every show, we were at Euro Club, except Gay, because he has to give you guys content because he's a provider allegedly. So the rest of us were at Euro Club, and this certain person clearly cannot handle his drinks whatsoever, and did not read the room about where he was and who he was with. So he just like kept crushing out, and I think it was because of the non-qualification. But a lot of mean things were said about different artists. Certain artists were outed. Certain countries were supposed to be disqualified according to him. A lot of things were said, and one thing about me is that I never shut up, and
Yep.
I would rather die than stay silent. So, of course, I had to take this to Twitter. Do I regret it whatsoever? No.
And so this is what you tweeted.
Because again, the guy basically, yeah, go ahead.
This is what you tweeted. And so now I think Marco Bosniak is very lucky that the morning after this, like 12 broadcasters were like, we need an audit of the results, because it made everyone rapidly move on, because this was crazy. And what was even crazier than this was the fact that he went on an Instagram live and was like, now listen, there's been some allegations flying around, and basically, so here's the thing, they're all true, was basically what he said. Like, that's not even paraphrasing. He was basically like, yeah, I said some stuff in Euroclub. And it's like, bro, who is advising you?
The confidence is crazy.
And I remember sitting there being like, he just admitted to it. Like, Gotham, of all people, made one tweet. And now he's admitted to it.
I don't even think Gotham said his name.
No, I mean, it was very obvious.
Oh,
To be
it
fair,
was
Gotham,
heavily
you made it
implied.
blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
It was blatantly obvious. Because you were talking about not getting through the semi-final, and it was these four. Obviously, it was not going to be Gojo, because Gojo would never do that. Yeah. And then he went on this big tangent about how he loves Ukraine and he loves Zifferblatt, and they should be in the contest, but also they shouldn't. And also, you guys have seen the map. You guys have seen the map.
Please don't get it up.
I'm not going to get the map up, don't worry. And yeah, he was and he was just being odd. He was an odd man. It's just I just think it's a shame that such a legendary crash out only got about 12 hours of airtime, because we moved on so fast.
Right?
So sad.
I mean, we'll come on to
It's
that
one
in
of
a
the
bit.
biggest artist crash outs
It's one of the worst ones I've
that
ever
we've
seen.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone just forgot about it.
Can you guys think of a bigger artist crash out? Then this is one for chat, actually. What is the biggest artist crash out that you can remember at Eurovision? Allegedly, this was never confirmed to me or not, allegedly an artist who didn't qualify in 2018 smashed a lamp in the green room. I don't know if that's true or not, which is why I'm not naming the artist. People are talking about the Natalia Barbu Award. Yeah, no, I think Marco Bosniak might win this year's Natalia Barbu Award. For those, in case you guys aren't aware, basically the Natalia Barbu Award is given to the artist who handles their result worst, essentially. So last year that was Natalia Barbu, saying that the contest was all like Satanists and stuff. And this year, I think we can all award it, and please give a big round of applause to this year's Natalia Barbu Award winner, Marco Bosniak.
I'm not applauding that man.
Yay! Ranella, people are pointing out Ranella, obviously Mons. I can't believe we got a worse one than Mons, actually. Sylvia Knight doesn't count because that was a comedic skit. Michael Ben David, no, he was just a dick. We will come on to Mons Somalo in a bit, by the way. So, Samantha Mumba. God, it really is.
Okay.
It's like the Champions League of crash outs this year. We have Mons, we have Samantha Mumba, we have Marco Bosniak. Oh my God, I completely forgot.
guys all there.
What's her name? Maja Nikolic from Serbia. You remember
Oh, yeah.
the
Oh, that
the
was really
absolutely the she was crazy.
Yeah, that's a diagnosis right there.
No, truly.
I don't remember that one.
God, how do you not remember that one? She was the one. Remember she had like a cast on her leg, and she went out. She wheeled herself out on a wheelchair after the show, just like into the street, and just like gave an interview to a bunch of reporters in the street. Lee says we might need a crash out tier list. Maybe I should do like top 10 greatest Eurovision crash outs of all time.
That's a great. Write that down.
Yeah, that's an amazing video idea. Thank you, Lee, for giving us that idea. And Verx, thank you for the €2. Says the Arc 2007. I'm not familiar with that one. Ardit Cooney from FIK. Remember he posted the vomiting emojis when Skodra Electronica beat Alvana Jata? That was like 6 months ago, by the way.
I can't believe it's been that long.
John Lundvik, everything the Israeli commentators said about Bambi Thug. Bobby Arlo, yeah, I think Bobby Arlo, sorry, would get an inclusion. Some of those Instagram stories were a little salty. Who else? You got 10 more seconds and then we're moving on to Iceland. There was no Zierm crash out. Actually, I'll tell you, there was one Zierm crash out, and you didn't see this, Jay, but I did, by the one and only Mr. Godham, walking down the street. We left the show. We're walking down the street back to my Airbnb because we're going to have a quick glass of wine before we go to the Euro Club. And he's walking down the street, you know, he just finished crying, and he's gone from crying to angry, and he goes, "There is no place for a Balkan winner in this contest. It is impossible because of these juries." Maybe you'd like to...
That's not what I said. That's not
It's
what I said.
absolutely what you said. It's absolutely what you said. What did you say then? Tell me, please.
But I hope the entirety of Eastern Europe withdraws from Eurovision because we clearly do not get rewarded. Which is valid, because Yarm was robbed.
We will talk about it because we're going to come on to Albania, I promise you. For now, we're going to the next one up the list, which is Iceland. Now, something we all actually like. I actually do want to say that 0 from the juries is an utter disgrace. Like, it is an utter disgrace. Yeah. They were never going to score highly in the final. That's just the nature of the beast. But, like, it is such an utter disgrace that they scored so low. Like, 0... I don't understand how, you know, you got Tutto l'Italia right there. Bro didn't even sing, and he got points from the juries. Kayla, thank you so much for the $5. It hurt me too. The thing that made me laugh is when they were receiving their televote points. I watched back the British broadcasts of Eurovision this week when I was making my video, which went out on Friday, which you can all go watch after this if you haven't already. It has like 110,000 views already, so I think you all did watch it already, actually. And it's so funny because they're waiting to get their points, and Graham Norton, he's got this like sadness in his voice. He's like, "They're just kids." And I think
they deserved more.
Yeah. What did you, Jay? I'll go to you first, and then I'll come to Godham. What did you think of Vibe and Roa? Obviously, we are quite biased here, but that's allowed. This is we had the professional stream last Sunday. This is the unprofessional one. Say whatever you like. Well, not whatever you like, but
they I think, well, to be honest, I was just really happy they made it to the final, and I was just like, you know what, whatever happens, like, I'm just gonna be really happy for them. But 0 is crazy. What?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
Indeed.
That should not have happened.
Got him.
I don't know. I love the song. It's in my top 15, but like, I'm not really that shocked by those 0 points from the juries. It's really not a jury song. And we did have a lot is an overstatement, but like, still, we had a bit of jury songs there. And I just cannot see a single juror other than Gabe, if he was a juror, putting Iceland in their top 10. So it's not an explainable result to me. Do I like the fact that they got 0? Obviously not. I like the guys a lot, but
I do want to shout out one person here. And that is, there was one juror in Denmark, and I'm going to find it. There was one juror in Denmark. Here we are, right. Danish jury. Scroll through. Detailed voting breakdown. Here we are. Juror A in Denmark, whoever you are, who put Iceland second. I love you. I love you. And also, guys, if I was a juror at Eurovision, I would not be able to make a single video the whole season because you're not allowed to talk about your opinions on the songs publicly if you want to be a juror. That's why Alika and Katarina Pavlenka both got disqualified from the juries. Yep, I agree, got him. It was very sad. Back to the task at hand. This does mean there is an interesting trend developing where now, 2 years in a row, Nordic men with sunglasses have gotten exactly 33 points in the final and also appeared on my live stream. Which means if there is an artist next year who has sunglasses and appears on this live stream, you should bet your life savings on them getting exactly 33 points. Now, I am going to end the poll now, which is very, very clear. It won't surprise you at all to know that 78% of people, 77, on YouTube say Iceland was too low, and 85% on Twitch say the same.
What are you drinking?
It's just water. I had a mojito in here before, so it still has the mint in it, but it's just water.
Oh.
I was tempted to have a mojito during the stream, but I can't endorse such things. This is the thing, is that clearly I can guarantee a final placement, but I can only guarantee 33 points in the final. Next to the song I had tipped to finish last, so I'm going to start with this, which was Spain, Esa Diva, Melody. I think there was a small segment of fans who got really carried away, mostly sort of the O-gay club kind of fans who enjoy this kind of music more. This always had very little appeal, and it's no one's favourite. And in addition to that, and Melody, to be honest, it sounds like she was pretty sort of suffocated with the way this whole thing was done. And she basically was just told to do things a certain way, which isn't great. But to be honest, I thought it would do even worse than this. And I don't think anyone can have any complaints with this result. What do you guys think?
I think that
Should start.
Yeah, no, there seems to be a trend going on where Spanish fans are kind of guilty of this with their own entry. They don't like the song at first, and then they kind of start getting it, and then the hype rises and rises until the O-gay poll comes out, and then it scores high, and then it flops in the final. And I don't know, I feel like this always happens with Spain, obviously, bar 2022. I think they're very enthusiastic. They just need a good song. Yeah.
Well, they are enthusiastic. The thing is, I don't understand what the appeal was with this ever. To be honest, I mean, Benidorm Fest was already a bit of a loser no matter where you went, but there we are. Godon, what did you think?
I cannot take this entry seriously anymore. Every time she performs, I laugh. And I don't know why it's cracking me up so much every single time, but I find it hilarious for some reason. Honestly, going into the final, I genuinely thought that this was going to get last place as well. I don't understand the level of delusion Spanish Euro-gay fans operate at. To me, it's insane that they were rallying up behind the song because it sounds so dated. The staging made no sense. And honestly, this is where it should have ended. And still, I wouldn't have been too surprised or mad if this finished last. I just think Benidorm needs to change, because if this happens for a third in a row, then we clearly have a problem.
And the other thing is, again, the score is flattered a little bit by, like 6 points from Portugal, for example. What happened with Albania? Like, how come the Albanian jury saw this and was like, this is the one? Like, it confuses me a lot. But no, no surprise at all. I thought it would be worse. We come to 2 songs on 47 points. One, I think, could be happier with the other with this score than the other. I'm going to start with the one that I think could be happier, which is Denmark. Now, the reason I say this is because I think Denmark was in a battle to get to the final. It's another one of those countries where you think, okay, being there is the success, right? And it got a reasonable amount of flowers from the jury. 2 from the public was very harsh, but given the style of the song, is it surprising? Is more my question. Gordon, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that people were not happy with the televote result, but honestly, I'm still surprised Sisao made it to the final. Not because I don't like the song or I don't like her. That's really not the case. I'm in love with both, but to me, this entry always sounded like a 12th place finisher in the semifinal. And honestly, I was just happy to have Denmark there because up until the qualifiers announcement and Denmark getting announced as a qualifier, I genuinely was almost 100% sure that we wouldn't be seeing Sisao in the final. I'm genuinely okay with this result. Honestly, this song was not competitive by any means, and I think we should all just be happy that we saw Denmark in the final because it was never going to be higher than the bottom 5, sadly. It's just not a competitive entry, in my opinion.
I think the thing is with a song like this, I remember I said this a few weeks before the contest, said, okay, it's something that's been done before. Because it's been done before, you've got to sing the fuck out of it. And she did sing the fuck out of it because I think she hit like her height during Eurovision week, which is incredible considering she was so sick in the leading up to it that she didn't sing in all of the rehearsals. She got the audience to sing for her in the Friday morning or Saturday morning rehearsal for the final. They had to cancel engagements and stuff, put her on vocal rest, and she came out and delivered. I thought she did really well, and I'm glad she got some recognition from the jury, at least. Although I do find it funny that you couldn't get 2 more different countries giving it love. You got the UK and Georgia, like the most and least camp juries, both absolutely loved this. So I guess it was a bit of a unifier. Moving on to the other one, that this is one that I think, and we are going to do a poll for all of them, don't worry, but we're just finishing up on Spain now. 56% of people think Spain was about right. 25% say too high. Come on, it can only go down 2 more places. And 18% say too low. So 18% of the people watching the stream are Spanish. We're now going to do another poll for Denmark. We're going to rattle through these to make sure that I don't fall too far behind on the polls. So Denmark was too high, too low, and add option just about right. And we're going to talk about same number of points, better finish by virtue of doing slightly better with the televote. The televote and the jury is almost exactly agreed on this one with 23 from one and 22 from the other. That's wrong. 24 and 23, sorry. Now, I actually want to give Laura Thorne her flowers because I'm sure you guys will agree with this. Talk about a glow up. Vocally, production-wise, the sort of stage presence, the way it was... Everything about this took such a massive leap forward from the national final. And I actually think the delegation deserves a lot of credit because they made this a safe qualifier. Like, having seen that performance in the semi-final, I think nobody doubted for a moment that Luxembourg was qualifying. Jay, I'm going to come to you first, and then I'm going to go to Gotham.
It's really impressive what they've done with this like whole package. I wasn't like the biggest fan of the song at first, but the staging really elevated it, especially watching it, watching the like the broadcast version, because at the beginning, thank you. In the beginning,
Did you just receive your dinner?
yeah. In the beginning, you know, the shot where she's on the floor, you can't see that in the arena. So like watching it on TV, it's a lot better.
It was more impactful that way, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like that mini dance break into the bridge was really cool. They really elevated this, and it's impressive.
Yeah. 53% of people, by the way, say that the Danish final position was just about right. 36% say too low, 11 too high. Got him. Adam P has donated 100 bits and says, "Got him. Be positive about one thing challenge. You seem to be nodding your head when I was saying that this had a glow up." And also, thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
1 second. There was just thank you. Someone just donated $1, and we got Loco Boombox. Now, go ahead. What did you think of Laura Thorne?
I love this. I love this on the Eurovision stage. I was never a fan of this. To me, like, I was fighting with the gay, middle-aged gays on Twitter all the time about this song. And honestly, this, by far, in my opinion, had the biggest glow-up from the national final to the Eurovision stage. Everything was done so... It was just so sleek. Overall, it was a good package. I love this. I think they did a great job with the staging. It was not minimal, but it was just done so professionally. It wasn't trying too hard, but it just worked. It worked so well with the song, which is why I'm so shocked by this result, because I was watching this with Adam P, who just donated. We watched the jury show live in the arena, and I turned to him and I said, "Oh, this can do very well with the juries." Just because she can sing, she can dance. The staging was so creative and so well executed. And it got only 23 points. I don't get it. I don't get what went wrong. I would have placed it higher if I was a juror. I wouldn't have placed it in my top 10, because the song, I still don't think it's that good by any means. But yeah, I really like what they did with the production.
I was surprised it didn't get anywhere in Francophone markets. So, France, Switzerland, Belgium gave it a total of 1 in the public vote just there, and nothing more than that 1. I expected more than that. I think it's tough because of... the points were really all over the place in this final, weren't they? And as a result, I think it meant some people lost out. But yes, I thought this would do much better. I thought it would probably get 100 points overall, but like with a jury lean, so maybe like 75 jury, 25 public. And it's just, it's just a shame, I think. At the same time, it feels to me like she got the most that she could get out of the experience. Like, you couldn't really have done any more. She proved that she had it, right? Like, that she could do it. And I think that was important. We're going to go on to a song that's very dear to our J's heart, which is Portugal. Jay, I'm going to start with you. Why do you love this song?
This song is like a warm hug. It really is. And just the instrumentation of the song, I can talk about this song all day and say absolutely nothing at all. I just love this song. I was so thrilled that it got to the final that I was like, even if this gets last, I will be happy because they made it to the final. It was crazy how this got to the final, because they were literally last in the odds to qualify. And I was not expecting this at all. You know that split screen where it was Portugal, Azerbaijan, and Slovenia? I think most of us thought that it would have been Slovenia.
I 100% thought it was going to be Slovenia, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what? 50 points. I'm very happy with that.
Got him? Thoughts?
This is the only song that I cried to in the arena
Aww.
on Friday live. I love this song so much, and it just hits close to home because I'm also an immigrant. So knowing the lyrics and knowing the backstory, I really connected with it over the pre-Eurovision season. And I was, again, similarly to Jay, shocked that they made it out of the semi-final, because this is not a song that casual voters would get. And I am still in love with it. I was just honestly glad that it was in the final. And I'm a little bit shocked. I thought that the juries might potentially appreciate this more, which they didn't. But yeah, know what? You cannot win every time. I'm just glad we had this song in the final, and that's about it.
Yeah, I'd argue this is already a win. I mean, no one gave them a chance, obviously. And let's quickly flick back to that semi-final performance. I think the thing that makes me really happy about this was that it wasn't like, we were talking about Cyprus and San Marino, right? Where it was big points from a small number of countries. San Marino wouldn't have gotten through without that massive haul from Italy, for example. But like they didn't get higher than an 8 from anyone, which just shows that this had really broad appeal. Like they had this kind of, there is this kind of, broad and shallow route. All you have to do is get, 7th, 8th, 6th in a lot of countries, and you start to see results like this. And it's, the diversity of countries, whether it's obviously you've got Switzerland, Ukraine, Spain, Estonia, Slovenia, these are places with very different music industries, very different cultural prompts and so on. So it's, it just made me happy, okay? This song in general made me happy, and I was really glad it did well. What people are saying... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you know how Italy had their subtitles in English,
yeah,
so everyone could understand. If Portugal had subtitles and Italy didn't, do you think this would have gotten a higher score?
It might have gotten a few more, but I'm not convinced the subtitles made a massive difference. I think what helped Lucio was it ran deeper than that. I mean, we'll come to it in a bit, but I think you're ultimately limited by the tools you're working with, and I don't think it would have massively affected people's impression of the song. By the way, just so you know, this is probably the most even we've had so far. 40% say about right, 33% say too low, 26% say too high. So overall, I think people are pretty happy with 21st place. They are indeed. We're going to keep going to place number 20. As Gotham rolls his eyes, I'm sure you're about to be really nice. I survived.
Oh.
I stayed alive. I made it to the final. And Gotham, now you're going to rain on my parade. Go ahead.
I hate this song with a burning passion. And I just cannot like it. I tried. I don't like anything about this song whatsoever. It's so Imagine Dragons. It's so like, and I know that people read me from under the last live stream I did with Gabe and Basil because I said no one other than straight men can appreciate the song. Clearly I'm wrong. I don't care. Only straight men can appreciate the song. There is nothing there. Nothing. Tragic lyrics. His vocals are nothing. The song is nothing.
Oh, come on. He was so much better in Eurovision week. He was so much better. Honestly, I think it was such a glow up, and the staging worked, and the package came together. And I thought it was quite impressive. And I actually thought, having seen it, I remember we saw it in the semi-final and got him. You all remember this because we were sat next to each other. We both watched it and we both immediately went, yeah, that's qualifying.
Yeah, it was qualifying. It was always going to qualify because it's a mid-song sung by arguably an attractive man, Gabe in this case.
Arguably?
Obviously it was going to make it.
God, you're going to make me blush. Oh, gosh.
Enough with the ego. And the only reason, honestly, I think it qualified because they had Armenia. They had France and Georgia in the semi-final. 2 countries that are allies of Armenia. They had Greece as well and Serbia. You have 4 allies in 1 semi-final.
You forgot about Israel.
Well, Serbia didn't give them a lot of points.
You forgot in the semi-final
well.
because there's an Armenian quarter in Jerusalem. So there's quite a big Armenian community in Jerusalem, and they would be able to. But yeah, no, there's that element here. But in the final, they did. I mean, they got one from Ireland over there, one from Ireland, one from Denmark, one from Montenegro. Yeah, the televote points, it's a bit. Yeah, I mean, 8, 12, 6, 2, 2. Okay, you know what? Maybe you're right about that. But I still thought like they maximized it, okay? Because all of you will remember, I really didn't like the song after the national final. I mean, the national final was a source of much ridicule. But yeah, but they did what they needed to do. I will say though that I think chat agrees with you, got him. And Jay, I'm going to read this result and then ask you what you think of this. 43% say too high for Armenia, 39 just right, 16 too low. Jay, what did you think of my performance?
Shut up. I mean, it was a very good stage show. I will say that. The song is still like meh for me, but the thing that carried it was the staging, and the way his vocals were pretty much completely stable on that treadmill is quite impressive.
Yep.
Um,
Now here's my question:
Yeah.
Would Dakwi Nation by Athena Manukian have done better or worse?
I mean, it's such a lyrical masterpiece, honestly.
Let's find that again. What were the lyrics of
Oh,
Dakwi
God.
Nation again? There we go. Depi Evertest 25. Dakwi Nation. Here, there he goes. Put some dedication, motivation, no negotiation. Dakwi Nation. Moving on. 19th place.
We're not last, Gabe. We're not last.
You know what? We came with a strategy to get a decent haul of points from the jury. That was obviously the plan. We achieved that. 0 from the public is very unfortunate, but it wasn't unforeseeable. Jay, I'm going to come to you first. Did it feel like maybe the final performance wasn't their best, in my opinion? Maybe it just like things had gotten a little too much. What did you think?
So I watched the performance back, the final performance, and I thought it was good, but I feel like it wasn't their best performance. And I mean, obviously the song, those girls are really, really nice, so I'm gonna be very nice. It's not a song I'd listen to. It's
No,
not a song I'd put in my
no.
playlist, just because like the changing tempos, you know. But I think it's very telling when you can predict the televote score from like a mile away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kanabai, thank you very much, says, did you know Colleen was Armenia's stage director this year? Yes, I briefly bumped into her at the Nordic party, I think it was. And that was the only time I saw her the entire week until I saw her on TV on Saturday. Got him. With your nice face on, tell us what you thought of the UK.
Again, me and Adam P, we watched the jury final together. We couldn't stop laughing because I have this baby voice I keep making all the time. And throughout the entire performance, I sung together with them in the baby Gorum voice. And we couldn't stop laughing. And there was this Swiss man next to us. I'm very sure he was Swiss. And he kept looking at us with his little side eye.
Yeah,
through
I
the
would have killed
entire
you.
show.
I would have killed you. I would have killed you.
Oh, you're Gabe.
Well, this is true. I am Gabe. You have to tell us about. You have to do the voice now for the remainder of your review of this song. You have to do it in the Baby Got 'Em voice.
The remainder of the stream.
No, for the remainder of just your review of this entry. Now go ahead.
Okay.
I liked the song. It was very fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't think it was competitive enough, but I'm just honestly glad that they at least got some points from the juries, because this was never gonna get anything from the televote.
And 12 cheesy points go to the United Kingdom. 43% say just right, 61% on Twitch, in fact. 33% say too high, 22% too low. So So low teens, high 20s. It is about where people wanted this to be, and it is about where it ended up. I will say, on a personal standpoint, it was a really nice moment for me and MJ watching this with you, Gotham, and with Adam P. When we got a 12 points, that was very exciting for us. And so that was a fun little moment. Overall, I think it is about where we expected. Moving on again. Interesting. Kind of got screwed by the running order, but still did all right. If I was Kyle Alessandro, I'd be really happy with this, actually. Like, this is about as solid as a result as you could have expected. Gotham, what's your take on lighter and on where it ended up?
Yeah, honestly, I think this was screwed up by the running order. But at the same time, this is just a slice of pop, this entry. It's not trying to be different. It's really not reinventing the wheel. And that's what I think why it ultimately failed to achieve a higher placement. I like the guy. Obviously, he's very talented. And I actually do enjoy the song. It's a bop. But again, I wouldn't personally pick up the phone for this. And I don't know. Maybe it was just too average for people, and that's why it didn't get enough love from the televote or the juries, even though the Ukrainians love him.
This is the funny thing is I saw a bunch of stuff in Ukrainian media. They started calling him like our Cossack and stuff like this. Could you explain like why have Ukrainians like latched onto this so much?
Okay, whenever there is a person that is from another country and they somehow have a connection with Ukraine in any way, because if you guys don't know, Kyle's stepmom is Ukrainian, and she apparently taught him a couple of Ukrainian phrases, and the official Eurovision Ukraine channel interviewed him, and he spoke a little Ukrainian, like a couple of phrases. It wasn't like full sentences or anything. So immediately, Ukrainians, as always, we always latch on people like that and start claiming that they are ours. Basically, that's what happened with Kyle. But he loves it. So honestly, also it doesn't help that Jerry Hale, throughout the entire preseason, kept calling him my twink every opportunity she got, every single time.
Oh gosh, no. I guess that I do get the impression that Jerry Hale has kind of risen to the status of kind of demigod, like in Ukraine now. So if she says something, I feel like a lot of people will just do it. By the way, Kyle Alessandro Hive donates $1.99 and says, "No girl bop opener meant Kyle had to get tanked." I'm sure Krista Bjorkman was very sad that he didn't have a girl bop to open the show with. Jay. Kyle Alessandro, lighter, thoughts?
I don't really have much to add other than like I agree with Gotham. Like I really like the song, but I wouldn't have picked up my phone to vote for it. You know what I mean? Like it's fun. I have it on my Spotify playlist, but I wouldn't vote for it. It's not in my top 10, so...
Yeah, this the thing is, I liked it. I thought it was well executed. I thought... I preferred it at MGP. And this is one that you want crowd sound, especially for an opener, which we didn't have. And don't worry, we're going to get to that later. We're going to keep going to one that I think maybe shocked a lot of people. If you had told me before the contest that Serving would get 83 from the jury and 8 from the public, while, you know, getting 8 because she ate, you know, is maybe appropriate in some way. Somebody, either of you, try to explain why it is you think this happened. Because for my money, while the performance was messy, she clearly had developed as an artist, and we talked about this. I think I talked about this with both of you in the week as well, in Eurovision week. She's clearly developed so much over the last few months as an artist. And by the way, people think that Noi was about right. 51% say about right. 36 too low. 12 too high. So broadly there. What happened? Someone tell me what happened, because I don't know what happened yet.
Malta generally struggles with televote anyway. I
Yes,
think.
but
Like,
yeah.
think about 2021. Like, we all thought it was gonna potentially win, and then it got what, like
Everyone.
40
Who
something
is everyone?
points in the
Yeah,
televote.
it did amazingly with juries and got like 50 or so from the jury.
Yeah, I feel
But the
like
other
they
way
just
around, sorry.
always struggle with the televote.
Got him?
So
An explanation, if you have one?
Yeah, it is truly the syndrome of Malta. They never do well with the televote. They do fairly well with the juries whenever they get into the final. Honestly, the only thing I we just had a lot of televote bait songs this year, and a lot of them made it to the final. And we had Erika, which was a direct competition of this because you got like a female rock star, slightly cheeky performance and song, and I don't know, maybe Erika overshadowed her. I just honestly think it got a little bit lost in the running order as well. I just hope that the Maltese delegation don't get discouraged. But I don't know how Malta fixed the situation they have with the televote right now. If they didn't score a high televote result with Miriana, considering the hype and the public coverage, the media coverage this song had, like everybody was talking about Kant, I mean, serving, but just
Yeah.
nobody.
We've
don't
got
know.
we've got the poll now, so if all of you make sure you go and vote. It's up on Twitch and Twitter at the moment. Twitch and Twitter, Twitch and YouTube even. And it looks like you all seem either aggrieved or think it's about right. So here we have the results now. About right, 42%, too low, 37, too high, 20. Similar figures on Twitch, slightly higher, about right. Yeah, I think people are mentioning that it lost its gimmick, but I think also it suffered from not having crowd sound because it would have kept the gimmick if you could hear the audience. Yeah, I'm struggling to understand it, to be honest, and the lack of appeal with the public is mystifying to me with Malta in general. Now, I think it's now I have to face up to my worst shout of the season. Let me find it. Let me find I'm calling this my number one most rancid take of the season. And some of you will already know what's coming. So I'm going to find it for you now. Wait, there we go. So, on February the 16th, I tweeted this.
oh my god, did you bet someone a $5?
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh,
Dave!
oh, no. Oh, no. I did. Oh.
There we go.
Right, I'm gonna
There
at
it
him now.
is.
I'm gonna at him now. I owe you. There we go. Mellow Mike, you win this round. So
Are you actually gonna sell £5?
yeah, I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word. You know,
Period.
I make a bet. I make a
Period.
bet. I lose it. I pay out. You can't say the same for everyone. So Lithuania, 96 points, did incredibly well with the Latvians and the British, and got maximum points from Ukraine in the televote. Very, very tasteful. Got him. Too high, too low, about right. What do you think?
Oh, if you ask me, I would definitely say that it got too low. If it was up to me, if the voting was 100% got 'em,
That's the
this
plan
would be
to
in the
solve
running
the
for the
televoting
win.
problems next year. It's just going to be 50% jury, 50% Gollum assigns the points however he likes. Sorry, go ahead.
I love this song. I love them. They're one of my favorite artists I've ever found through Eurovision. I cannot stop listening to their music. It's charting in Ukraine as well. I just think that, I don't know, in a fair universe, this would have been genuinely in the run for a top 5 result. But we're not living in it, sadly. Yeah, I think it was robbed. I think it deserved at least left side of the scoreboard. And thank God for the Lithuanian diaspora and the Ukrainians, because we just get it.
Yeah. That said, I do want to emphasize there were people who said that this wouldn't qualify. And to those people, I present to you an easy qualification with points from everywhere, including out of diaspora. Like, obviously, those three at the top, Latvians were always going to get this, because I think Latvian and Lithuanian as well have some degree of mutual intelligibility. The UK and Ireland, always give really high points to Lithuania. Take those 32 away. You still have an easy qualification because they still have 71. Because they got points from everywhere else as well. You were all wrong. I was right. You can present to me your apologies in writing. Or alternatively, you can mail me a check. But I don't have a PO box. I might need that. Jay, too high, too low, about right. What do you think for Latvia? Not Latvia, Lithuania. We'll come to Latvia in a bit.
This was definitely too low. I love this song. And I wish it got more appreciation. Period.
Thanks, Jay, for that. No, I agree. I do think certainly this is one of those songs. I think the more depressed you are, the more it hits.
Yes.
It's a good song to listen to while having a breakdown or something, I think. You know, you go stand like with the wind blowing through your hair somewhere when it's raining and listen to this. I imagine that would work really well. Everyone agrees with us, by the way, because 61% of people say too low. That's one of our strongest ones so far. 26 about right. 12% too high. That's from 1,000 voters as well.
1,000 people voted?
Yeah. Someone said, Halabasada says, speak for yourself. I'm in deep denial over my depression and therefore I pretend the song doesn't exist.
Real.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, no, someone's pointing out is that every single country except for Israel gave the song points in the semi-final. Now, we're going to move on to, and this one made me so happy, and it's now charting all over Europe. What a fucking success story Abort and Tina are coming out of this year's Eurovision. Like, for real, when they were selected, the only narrative was the girl can't sing. That was it. And then they have come out and get a really good result in terms of the number of points. They get points from a broad base all across Europe. And now the song is one of the biggest hits of the competition. I'm going to come to you, Jay, because I know you love Abort and Tina. So we're going to go to you first. And then, Gollum, I'm coming to you straight after. Jay, fire away.
So this is my winner of the year. I think I've streamed this song so many times, and all I can think is ish ba la 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 la. I am so happy for them. For the reasons you said, like the whole time everyone was just writing this off like, oh, she can't sing, she's gonna get lost. And she proved them wrong. It's Baller Summer. And you guys should listen to the rest of their discography because I don't even think this is their best song. So
interesting.
Get listening, guys.
And Do points out, thank you very much for the £10. It's like, this is the first German language song to chart in the UK since 99 Luftballons. That was a long ass time ago. So that shows it has broad appeal. Does that appeal extend to Gotham?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love this song. I am so glad Germany's finally sending songs that represent them. Because one thing the Germans are known for, I mean, not the only thing, but one of the main things is the fact that they are so good at clubbing. Clubbing is a cultural aspect of Germany. And I'm just so glad we finally got a song in Germany that's good for the club that I could pop my puss to. Because this song is amazing in a club setting. It's so good. I'm honestly shocked that we gave this 12. I didn't expect this to do well with the juries whatsoever. But I'm happy. I think this got a very adequate result. And I'm just so glad that it wasn't in the bottom 5. Because
I-
everybody's loving it now. It's charting everywhere.
Yeah, and this is the thing is we were in the Arena Plus. It was full of Germans. Everyone was losing it for this, and it was so much fun. And it really is. It was such a tonic from the rest of the show as well, because it's almost like you shake everything else off, and it kind of freshens you up. And you don't always know which songs that's going to apply to until you see them in the show. It's a bit like a kind of glass of water. And the cello survived, said someone. Yeah, no, honestly, it really worked. I think the national final format was ridiculous. Stefan Raab still needs to retire, but you know what? Abor and Tina, you have earned all of our respect. And 52% of you say it was the finish position was too low as well. 40% about right. 8%, 7% say too low. 72% say too low over on Twitch as well. The amount of hate they got in Germany, like 100% makes it sweeter. Mm-hmm. Now we move on to Poland, who did very poorly with the jury, very well with the public. Now, it felt like her final performance wasn't her best one because she felt super secure, super stable all through the season. And then during Eurovision week, it felt like she had really bad luck. Like things kept happening. Like she kept getting her hands caught in the wraps. And then it seemed like maybe she was ill or something. I'm going to ask you guys what you think. Very quickly, I do just want to say, Canterbury, thank you for the 50 knock. How do you think Germany switching broadcast will impact them? They'll kind of keep going on the same bizarre trajectory they're already on is what's going to happen, Canterbury, in my opinion. Got him. Portugal. Not Portugal. We already did that. Poland, what did you think? And did it seem to you like we weren't operating, firing on all cylinders during Eurovision week?
Oh, yeah. I just think the staging was too ambitious. And with such an ambitious staging, which she executed quite well for the most part, other than the tangled moments she had with the thingies. The rehearsal, like the recap clip, was abysmal. What did the producer and the delegation think? Selecting
isn't
that
she meant to be singing there? And it was, it didn't.
It was silent.
She was just hanging there. Like, it was a recap clip. We should all do it now, where she was just going.
Yeah.
And that was it for 15 seconds. It made no sense. Jay, what did you think?
I mean, I'm very surprised the juries did not award this more. Because her vocals were really good. I guess it's not all about the vocals, but
It was
like
very versatile. Like the different things she does with her voice.
Yeah, and I thought like maybe Eastern Europe would appreciate this more too, like the juries, but no.
Well, let's have a look. These jury points came from, I mean, the thing is that she got 5 from Australia, 4 from Azerbaijan, 1 from France, 2 from Germany, 2 from Belgium, 1 from Israel, 2 from Estonia. So it didn't make any inroads anywhere, really, unfortunately. The thing is obviously you can then see reflected in the rest of it. Like the diaspora really came in hard at that top end. I mean, 12 from Iceland, 12 from Ireland, 10 from Belgium, Netherlands, and the UK. We now finally have an answer to the question, at least in Ireland, who is more powerful? People who are weirdly into Israel or the Polish diaspora? And the answer was absolute victory for the Polish. Speaking of absolute victory for the Polish, people seem pretty high with where this finished. So on Twitch, we have 47% say about right, 35 too low, 18 too high. And then on YouTube, 39 say just right, 36 too low, 23 too high. So people are broadly happy. Latvia. Now, I don't have the video to hand. I could probably find it. But I want to highlight this moment again. This was the moment at which Latvia was about to announce. Now, picture the scene here. There's a lot going on. Jay, look at the worry on his face. He's, he's concerned. Then you got him in the back, about to cry, one arm aloft with his Latvian flag around him. And then it's like I'm in the Situation Room at the White House watching an ongoing anti-terrorism operation or something. My hands on the table, what's going to happen next? As if I'm somehow involved in this somehow. And Godham's gone. Godham's
my
gone.
God, what happened to
And
my
Jay's
camera?
camera's frozen. Oh, there we go. He's got the flag. There we go. The thing is, it's not a very high quality
go.
Latvian flag that Godham's got, so it kind of looks like an Austrian flag. But we
No,
promised
it
it is a
doesn't.
Latvian flag.
It's
Yes,
a
it does.
Latvian
And then obviously Latvia qualified, and not just qualified. I'm going to show this result on screen. 130 points this is unbelievable. Like, this result is beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm sure the same is true for you, Godham. Firstly, how did you feel when they qualified? Second, how did you feel when you saw this?
I was ecstatic when they qualified. After we left the little Irish pub we watched semi-final 2 in, me and Jay were hopping around the streets of Basel, singing Burman Laimi. That's how happy I was. I got drunk that night. I was that excited and ecstatic for Latvia. And in the final, I didn't see this coming whatsoever. I didn't see this performing well, just because like I wouldn't expect like the casual viewer or the casual juror to like the song whatsoever. Yet they did. Like, second in the semi-final, televote only, seventh with the juries in the final, and still an okay result with the public. And left side finish of the score in the scoreboard. I am so happy, and I genuinely, this is such a big win for Latvia, and I'm just hoping that the Latvians realize that their culture has a place in Eurovision and that it does get celebrated.
Yeah. In
They
general, I
should
think the
lean into that
Baltic
more,
countries...
because that's clearly what they do best.
Yeah, the Baltic countries this year in Eurovision. I mean, last year was considered amazing, and they had a combined placing of 50 if you added them all together. This year it was like 34 or something. And I mean, we'll come on to Estonia in a bit, which is going to be fun. We're definitely going to have an argument. Also one of the few 24s received by any country was the 24 points received by Latvia from Lithuania. So pals for life. Moving on to the Netherlands, this was a distinctive underperformance, especially with the public. I, again, am seeing the same trait we've seen in past years with black performers doing worse with the public, which I think partly explains this. Is there any other factor that you two think might filter into this? I am going to do my poll for Latvia quickly while you guys talk about this. Jay, you go first.
This was clearly robbed. How is this song only getting 40 points from the public? Like, I genuinely don't understand it. And I tweeted, I think it was yesterday, like, this was so robbed of a top 10 finish. Like, it's actually beyond me. Like, I don't understand it.
Got him?
I'm gonna disagree. I think this is about where this song should have placed. I don't think, like, it's not a televote song. It's, again, it got lost in the mix for me during the show. Maybe it's because I hear this song whenever I step out of my house in the Netherlands. This is always playing, and maybe I'm over it. But I just, this result to me sounds about right. I didn't expect this to be in the top 5 whatsoever. Like that, never saw that coming. So I'm pretty much okay with this result.
We're going to ask the audience as well. The Latvia poll just finished. 49% say just right, 41 too low, 9 too high. We're going to ask that same question for the Netherlands, where we're going to go too high, too low, about right. Now, I suspect some of you may have noticed, but it wouldn't have had an effect because the broader audience wouldn't have known either way. He did get his words wrong at one point. Like, he flubbed one of his lines in the final, but
Yes.
he came through it in a way that when I watched it back and I wasn't paying full attention, I didn't notice. I had to actually focus on it to see it. I don't know. I just expected more. I thought it was the kind of song that would catch the public's imagination because it's so accessible. It's catchy. It's performed in a charismatic manner. I expected more. I think the thing is that, and we've seen a lot of big jury televote disagreements, and this is just another one of those. In some ways, it's a victim of that. You do have a little more time to vote on this poll, so make sure to do it if you haven't already. Rebecca says, missed some notes and sounded a little squeaky in the semis. Yeah, he was a little off, but I thought it was much better in the final. He improved through the week. So, 50% of you, both on YouTube and Twitch, say about right. 28 too low, 22 too high. So essentially, the consensus of the chat is this ended up exactly where it should have. So congratulations, Gotham. For the only time ever, you are the mainstream, popular, and accepted opinion. Don't get used to it.
I'm always right.
Right. Everyone, deep breaths. How? How? What did... People of Europe, what is it exactly that you wanted her to do? What was she meant to do, exactly? She fucking flew over the arena on a giant microphone with sparks flying out of it. This is one of the most inexplicable results I have ever seen in this competition. It does not make any sense to me at all. And by the way, something else I noticed, the title is in German. You want to know one of the countries that gave it a flat 0 from both jury and public? Germany. I don't get it. I think it could have used the crowd noise. Again, we'll come onto crowd noise. It could have used crowd noise. But, Gotham, I know you love this. So I'm going to go to you. What the fuck happened?
I have no clue. I thought that it was a winning performance. I voted for it 10 times. I was sure it's going to be in the top 5. I didn't have any doubt whatsoever about this not coming in the top 10. And I don't know what else people wanted. Maybe it was too much, even though I don't think it's too much. Honestly, this is such a devastating result. I cannot get over it. This is my most streamed song out of the entire year. Not just Eurovision, the entire year since 2025 started. First, the return of Puritan culture in media, in mainstream media. Now Erika Wickman not getting the top 10. It's a dark time for sluts out there, including me. And I'm over it. I'm over it.
It was... Blue Pumpkin says she hated melted cheese. Thank you so much for the donation. She did, indeed. This is the thing, is that even though it was like this kind of very like rock star performance, she seemed approachable. They did it in such a way that made her like a sympathetic character. It won't surprise you guys to know at all. More than 80% of people who have voted in these polls say too low. Jay, any thoughts at all?
The only thing I can think of is the running order. I feel like maybe if she was in the second half, maybe after song 20, like maybe it would have had a bigger impact. But like, still, come on.
And
she closed the first half.
They gave her the best place. You've got to remember, Karia scored 370 plus televote from that exact running order slot 2 years ago.
I honestly, like, the points this year were just crazy.
11th place, says Lewis, thank you for the donation, is reserved for iconic queens we didn't deserve, Erika Wickman and Marina Satti, Monica Linkite and Estine. You know what? I like that theory. That made me feel better. I didn't read the poll results for the Netherlands. They're long gone now, but I remember that people... I did actually... Wait, no. I've just gotten one guide. I've just gotten one guide by Liam Turtleneck, because I did read the poll results for the Netherlands, because I said that Gotham people actually agreed with Gotham. Yeah, I mean, this one makes no sense to me. Thank you, Estonians, for having taste. Like, I'm frustrated and angry and sad about this. And again, crowd noise. This is the one that I think lost the most from not having crowd noise. Like, imagine if you could have heard everyone losing their minds to this, it would have added so much to it. Yeah, but we'll continue. 2, I mean, we were all gagged. Any volunteers for thoughts on this one? I mean,
I'm mad.
You're mad. You're mad. I'm mad. What the fuck is this?
What happened? How did this get second? in the jury and then last in the televote. That makes no sense.
I just,
Absolutely no sense.
it was so nicely done, so unique, so it was just. This is another one. It's like, what exactly was it you wanted them to do? My only thought is that people found the song too boring.
But it's not even a boring song. It builds and builds. So like,
I understand why people might think it
you guys
takes
want?
too long to get to the middle bit. Got him.
This is the biggest robbery out of the entire year. I am devastated. And the thing is, I didn't expect this whatsoever. Obviously, it's not a televote bait song, but when I watched Semi 1, I watched it with casual viewers. This was by far their favorite. 3 of them downloaded the song immediately. That's how much they liked the song. And I was sure it was gonna have some public appeal. I was not anticipating 300 points from the televote, but at least 50, something between 50 and 100. This getting 0 makes no sense whatsoever. Because it was a captivating performance. It was so emotional. I cried my eyes out at Arena Plus. This is one of my favorite songs from this entire decade. And this is by far, and I might like overdo it a bit with this statement, but this song has the best lyrics we have seen in the contest period.
Wow. And someone says that you're frighteningly right, which is also how I feel whenever I agree with you. Das Mystery Man, thank you very much for the support, says AIR Ulverham Voyage, the undeserved trinity. All of them were fed dust by the televote. But it is extraordinary, actually, how good the televote last place has been the last 3 years. And of course, this did come very, very close to getting 1 point, and it would have gotten 1 point maybe if it weren't for other factors, which we'll come on to. People saying it wasn't deserved to get 0, but we overestimated it. Maybe. I got very overexcited after the semi-final. I thought it was amazing. But in any case, more than 60% of you say it was too low. 28 just right. 11 too high. We're getting into the serious end now. And we now come on to Ukraine. And I actually am feeling very vindicated about this because the disrespect that Zifferblatt have had the entire season, people have not engaged with this genre of music in a way that I think is acceptable. I think people have been way too dismissive of it, and way dismissive of it on the basis that it is Ukraine. I think it's disappointing the way that a segment, it's definitely not everyone, there is a segment of Eurofans who are developing an antipathy towards Ukrainian artists on the basis that they are Ukrainian because of the distortions that exist in the televote at the moment. And it's like, I'm sorry, what do you expect Ukrainians to do? I've talked about this before. I've shown the map. I've talked about how people are going to engage with media that speaks to them, that they can engage with. You know, you have 10 million Ukrainians fled were forced to flee their own country less than 3 years ago. Most of those 10 million Ukrainians, especially older generations, won't have spoken any English. So this is a show mostly conducted in English. Thank you very much, Levi, for the donation. And that said, that poison cake really got to Marco's mind, indeed. As I was saying, people are going to engage with the things that are in their first language, that they are that is part of the cultural landscape in which they exist. Thank you, Grackle, for the $5, by the way. I really appreciate that. I think this result was completely fair, and 9th was a absolutely perfect reflection. Gonem, I'm going to come to you first, and then Jay, I'm going to come to you after. Gonem, what did you think of this song, and do you think it was a fair result?
I think it's a fair result. It's a good song despite what the bubble says about it. It's a good song, period. The staging worked. It looked like a fairy tale, which was the whole aim of the Ukrainian delegation this year, to make the song look like a fairy tale, sound like a fairy tale, and it got what it deserved. And the thing is, people are engaging in this wild discussion about Ukraine not deserving its televote. This was not even the top 5 with the televote. It wasn't. This was liked enough by the jury and by the televote, so it got top 10, it got ninth. What are we exactly bitching about here? Also, you cannot argue and call it unfair when this is organic. This is an organic televote. There have been no ad campaigns, no government-funded campaigns, no vote 20 times for Ukraine's entry at the contest. No, Ukraine's diaspora in Europe just saw this on the screen and decided to throw it 1 or 2 votes. And by the way, the casuals love this. I'm sorry, just because the Euro fan bubble does not like the song doesn't mean that the average viewer didn't like it.
Yep, I know.
Because
a
the
lot of
average
people who
viewer
just
did
liked
like
it.
this.
Yeah. It did like this is the thing is that and also if you look at the points, you look at the televote points as well, is that there are countries here with large Ukrainian diasporas where they didn't give that many points. I mean, Germany is an example. They only got 3 from Germany. And countries which don't have large Ukrainian diasporas, such as Portugal, who gave very high scores. So it's a much more complicated picture than what some have suggested. I think people have dismissed this unfairly. I was also happy to see them get some love in the jury. I thought maybe they would get a little more just based on uniqueness. Jay, this was probably too heavy for you. But in all seriousness, it was probably not up your street. But do you think this result was fair? Because, yeah, I do.
I mean, in my personal taste, this isn't in my top 10. But, you know, as Gotham said, like, they didn't, like, run ad campaigns like crazy to get this score. So I think it's fair.
Yeah, if people pick up their phone, it is what it is. I stand by it. Gotham, I'm just going to hand over to you now. I'm sure you have plenty to talk about. Firstly, could we just say how wonderful it is that this came, what would have been, had the result not been manipulated, this would have finished 4th with the public. I think that is astonishing. I think it's really, really special. And I'm delighted. Overall, how do you feel about this result? And I know you are hurting with the juries, but tell us first how you feel about the position overall and how that public love felt.
From an outsider perspective, this is an incredible result for a song like this, because this is such an experimental entry, both in terms of sounds, of construction, of lyrics, of staging. It's just so experimental. I cannot pinpoint a single entry that sounded or had a similar staging to Zierm. It was completely in a league of its own. And from an outsider's perspective, it's an incredible result for a song like that, and for a country like Albania that generally struggles in terms of results. To me, I'm disappointed, because to me this was a winner. This was a winning performance and a winning entry, and I have been Team Zierm since day one. And I don't know, it opens an interesting discussion in terms of like juries and them lacking an authenticity criteria when assessing the entries, because this should have gotten more love. I'm sorry, but it's not adequate for Zierm to be 16th in the juries, but Estonia to be 9th. Like, what are we doing? But other than that, I'm very satisfied with this result. I think top 5 with the televote is amazing.
Would have been top
and
3. It
had
would have been
Israel not
3rd, by the way.
participated-
Without manipulation, it would have been 3rd.
Yeah, had Israel not even participated in the whole contest, this would have the top 5. And it's just an astonishing result. And I genuinely hope and I have faith that FIC next year, the lineup is going to be full of entries that are rich of Albanian culture and are experimental, because it does work. Albania taking a risk clearly pays off. And yeah, but I'm sad because I wanted more for
Jay?
this song.
The jury, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And in
Just
fact, Kayla says
what
the
were they
same. Thank you very much for the
thinking?
donation.
Like, 16th?
16th! Do you remember that video? Wait. I played it last... You know that... Doesn't matter. You didn't get the reference. Yeah, no, I don't understand it at all. At the same time, I think we should still celebrate that this is an extraordinary result for Albania and their best in almost 15 years. if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I choose to be happy.
Zeus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, 70% of people on YouTube and 80% on Twitch say this was too low. I think I agree with
Period.
them.
They're right.
This was an upset.
Guys,
Sorry, go on.
I am just gonna quickly pop to the toilet.
Okay.
I'll be back.
I'm going to leave your camera on screen, though, so we can just sort of see the blank, empty space where Jay is meant to be.
I was gonna put my bear there, but no. Okay, bye.
Bye. Right, while Jay is pissing, got him. France, 230 points. I think the jury performance, I would say, was in the range of expectation, but at the lowest end of like the window of where it was going to end up. That public vote performance is way lower than I expected. Can you explain it for us? Why do you think it went so badly?
Again, I have no idea because Monomore performed so well with the public last year. It got 200 points. And Monomore getting a higher result than Maman. To me is wild. Because I hate Monomore. And I actually like this song a lot. I don't know. I don't understand how the good running order. The staging was very nice. The thing is, the only explanation I have, maybe people did not get the whole rawness factor and just didn't get too emotional just because of how like rehearsed the staging looked. I mean, everything looked rehearsed because she hit it on the nail, but it just looked a bit choreographed in my opinion. But still, 50 points with the public is absolutely insane.
There is, I think, a bit of a digestive elephant in the room here, because I actually didn't think this was an issue, and I wasn't seeing it. But loads of people have mentioned it to me this week, like since I've been back in the real world, saying that the like smoke machine behind her in the bridge made it look like she was farting. And unfortunately, I can't believe I'm saying this as an actual point of analysis. I think that may have had some effect. I still thought it would do a lot better. Our grand final was a bit off, says Grackle. Thank you for the support. I don't know what else she could have done in terms of it. I thought her voice was great. She connected with the camera. I'm sad about it. I'm sad because I thought that could have been more. Jay, what did you think of France?
France, the bridge, the staging at the bridge.
It's all right. You can
They
say
could
it.
have like. It looked like she had diarrhea. I just wish they had the camera a little bit to the side, and then you could like see that it's not diarrhea.
I think they should have just canned the effect. I think they should have looked at it after the semi-final and gone, let's get rid of that effect. Just have the sparks. It's interesting though. People saying it was. Some people being like, "Oh, it's too rehearsed," which is interesting. You've still got time to vote on this one. We're getting up towards the top. There's going to be some rants in a minute. Let me tell you that. I've got some things to get off my chest. Actually, as we get into the top 5, I think you'll know where that is. Commentators mentioned it as well before the start of the performance. This happened in the UK. I think it happened some other places too, where people mentioned that she, the whole thing. Yeah, right. I'm going to close the poll now, and people are. This is actually people. The chat is basically exactly in agreement that it was about right. 47 about right. 26 too high. 25 too low. So people think 7th is exactly where this should have ended up. And it looks broadly the same on Twitch as well. Obviously a lower voting volume there. Yeah, I'm sad about this. I thought we'd see more. From that to, the biggest overachiever. Could we please get Claudia some flowers? Because this is unreal. This is absolutely crazy high. Like way above what anyone would have expected.
Yeah, no one saw this coming at all.
No, not even close. Sixth. Got him. Why do you think people connected with this so much?
Because it's a very mid song, but in the best way possible. Like your average person is gonna love this song because it's a bit ethnic. It has a beat to it. She can sing the shit out of it. I still don't know why she was bold. I will never understand why the stylistic choices were her being bold and looking like Trixie. I will never get that. But it has a broad appeal, and this resulted in it having jury appeal and public, and yeah, and televote appeal as well. I'm surprised I wouldn't have put this as high, just because like we sat with this song for so long. We got the song in February, and I was just over it. I just kind of forgot it by the time Eurovision came around. But clearly, the average viewer, the casual viewer that watches the show on the night for the final, clearly they disagree. They loved it, and from like the first time I heard the song, I was in love with it as well. So it's not surprising to me. I have a little bit of an issue when it comes to the staging because it is kind of ripping off Theresa Maria and 1944 in a way, done in a horribly poor way. Just the graphics were.
I don't know about that.
I'm sorry.
I don't know about that. Nah. I'm setting up my poll, but I'm also disagreeing with you. No, I think. I don't know, because it was all the graphics and stuff were. I mean, they were Greek related, right? 1 second. Too high, too low. About.
Were they?
Yeah. I can't remember the exact reference. That was one criticism I had of the staging, was that all of it had a meaning, but the meaning wasn't well explained, so people couldn't understand it. The other thing I was going to say about this was we had that national final, which was badly produced and the staging was terrible. We then didn't see her again for 3 months. There was she wasn't at the pre-party. We didn't have any new points, frames of reference. She didn't perform at any other national finals. And so there were things that we missed out on, in my opinion, that maybe we got to be careful. I think we need to spend more time paying attention to the studio versions over the live performances before the show. I think that's because I loved the studio version of this one when I first heard it. Interestingly, Mary says apparently Latvia and ERT were warned by the EBU to not talk about the meaning. Curious. Wouldn't put it past them. In any case, chat, 52% if you think this is too high, 41% say about right, 7% say too low. So in general, people are surprised by this. I mean, it's the sort of thing you can look at now and you can rationalize it, but we'd all be lying if we said we saw this coming, because we didn't. And you know what? Fair fucking play. She showed up, she sang the shit out of that song, and she got a whole fat wad of points to take home with her back to Greece. And this is their best result in a while, so I'm really pleased for them. Into the top 5. This is what playing a harmonica on stage can do. That's my opinion about this. Harmonica. Loads of people were like, oh, finally, someone playing an actual instrument, and voted for him. Jay, your thoughts, and then I'm coming to Gotham.
This song really grew on me during Eurovision week. I think it's because of the subtitles, to be honest. Like, I didn't really have this on my radar at all until I was, like, actually reading the lyrics, and I was like, whoa, this is deep. And, yeah, but 5th?
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like, I kind of enjoyed it more as time went on as well, but I look at this positioning and I'm a bit like, huh? Got him? Any sense in this?
I disagree with both of you. I fucking love this. I've loved this from day one, and I was sure it was gonna be a dark horse, and I was right, because this outperformed in every way, shape, or form. The models didn't see this coming. The odds didn't see this coming. The Eurofan bubble didn't see this coming, and it achieved top 5. This was always going to get top 5 with the juries, and Italy always does well with the televote. I'm just glad that people like the song, because I was in love with this in San Remo. I was in love with this when the rehearsals came around, and I was in love with this watching it live. And I'm just so pleased, because honestly, it's one of the few genuinely well-produced, authentic songs. And again, some of the best lyrics this year. I'm just really satisfied with this result. Absolutely deserved.
It's interesting. By the way, people on Twitch asking for polls, I'm relying on mods to put them in on Twitch because I can't do them from here. So if there's a modern Twitch chat, please do polls. If there's not modern YouTube chat, please hop over and do it. Everyone likes what Gotham said. And yeah, no, to be honest, I think there's probably an element of this. I mean, the theme of the week was basically, it's the song stupid. So maybe we need to stop trying to read tea leaves and actually just be like, well, the song is nice and people like this kind of music. And it got into this position for a reason. People saying definitely did better than Ollie would have. I think Ballad Nostalgia would have come in the top 3. Actually, I think Ballad Nostalgia had even more potential than this. Am I the only one who thinks that?
Yes.
Okay, well,
I
haven't listened to the song in 3 years. 3 years, 3 months. In any case, 45% say about right, 44% too high, 9% too low. That's too far, says Jazza Hazza. Maybe I'm getting carried away. It's been a long season. Into 4th now. What caused this? Because this is not anything like what I expected. I thought it was going to sweep the televote, which is why I thought they were going to win. When I saw 126 from the jury, the way the results were panning out, I was like, well, they're going to score 320 from the public and then they're going to win. And with that score, which would have been like 400 and, well, if they'd scored 310 from the public, they would have had 436. So yeah, I'm really surprised we're not going to Sweden. Even with that jury result, I thought 126, given how open it was, would be enough. Jay, any idea why we didn't clear 200? Got him?
I honestly have no clue. Like, this song was going viral. I really don't understand. And I think the fact that the bookmakers got this so wrong as well, which is really surprising. I have no idea.
Got him?
I honestly think it was like the Eurofan bubble again. Well, not me, but like for the majority of Eurofans, just overhyped the song to death. And it was charting, but where was it charting? It was charting in Sweden and maybe 2 other Scandinavian countries, and that's about where the higher results came from. Other than that, I just didn't have broad enough appeal. I mean, oh wait, it was getting scary with that light. It did still achieve a good result, like 4th in the hand side. Like, it's not a bad result, especially for a song sung in Swedish. Sweden never does that. This is not like a fail or a flaw by any means. We just like really overhyped the fandom, and that's it. That's the thing. Like, I think casuals, at least that's how they responded when I talked to the casuals that watched Eurovision. They liked it. They thought it was fun. They didn't think it was a winning performance, and I don't think it's a winning performance either. And honestly, I'm kind of glad they didn't win, because I was never on the Kai hype train, really.
I think the lack of audience sound made a difference. A couple of people said that. Canabai said audio mixing didn't help. Thank you for the support. Thomas says if Sweden had sent Mons, where would he have placed? And I think, to be honest, I think he'd do slightly better with the jury, slightly worse with the public, ended up in exactly the same position. Lila says, I think this was the first proper example of voting starts at the beginning. A lot of casuals already voted for Tommy Cash. I mean, maybe. I mean, that's where we're going now. So let's ask that question. Estonia, 3rd. I think this is an amazing result for Estonia. Estonians were thrilled. I think no one was expecting it to go this well. And, you know, there was a serious amount of time where I was watching these points coming in and I was thinking, oh my God, Estonia's going to win. It connected. They made Tommy Cash less aloof, because this was one of the problems with his SD Lau performance. Looking back, it was really aloof and like sort of this with the, there was no poll. Fine, I'll give you a poll. Let me do the Sweden poll. 1 second.
You guys and your polls.
Yeah. About right. Done. Okay, you've got your poll now. It clearly connected because it won the televote. Let's not be coy about obviously we'll talk about the manipulation in a fair world. This won the televote. What was it that you think made it connect? Gotham, I know you really, really dislike Tommy Cash and you really dislike this song. I'm going to ask you to put pause on that for a second and look at that performance now and sort of try and express what it is that made people go, yeah, I like this. I'm picking up the phone.
I'm gonna tell you, but you're not gonna like the answer, because the reason why this performed so well with the televote is mainly because the casual viewer that watches the final kind of thinks Eurovision is silly, and they're looking for a stupid song that is too silly, that has a silly little dance and a silly little hook to vote for. And I'm sorry, but the majority of the people, those almost 200 million people watching Eurovision, the final, every single year, majority of them are simpletons. And that's why they like the simpleton song.
Right. So I don't think I buy into the everyone's a moron argument. I think that's too hard.
I didn't say that. It's just a silly song, and a lot of people that watch Eurovision just want a silly song. And it is catchy. Even though I hate the song and I would never listen to it, I would rather die. It's still catchy, and we cannot deny that. I still think this result is abysmal, though.
Yeah, I just think it was way more entertaining and funnier than I expected it to be. Got him. They actually loved that. Chat loved that, and they so they're on. I think their team got him. Jay, as our resident. No, I'm not going to. That's mean. Jay, what did you think of this? Do you understand how it ended up here?
Kind of.
Explain.
I think Gotham's exactly right in saying that. Like most of the people that actually watch Eurovision, they just want a silly song to vote for. And we didn't have like another one to vote for, did we? I can't think of.
This was, yeah, I mean, this is where it went.
Yeah. So like, I understand it like winning the televote. I do not understand why this got top 10 in the jury though. That is insane.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
That made no sense. But remember that he did really well in the jury in Estilal, and we were like, what the fuck? So maybe we should have seen it coming? You got to remember, one of the jury criteria is like overall impression, which basically means they can do whatever they want. It might be that the jurors were just like, oh, funny song. And they voted for it. 68% of people think this is too high, by the way. 21% about right, 10% too low. I think there is going to be a poll on the next one. I think I know it's going to be the most unequivocal of all. This is what we're looking at here is the most embarrassing display I've ever seen in Eurovision. Obviously, the video was all about this on Friday. We don't need to analyze this televote at all because it's so blatant that there is no analysis required. I am going to have a bit of a rant, though. There's something I need to get off my chest with the video that's come out this weekend. So I'm just going to put... I know how this poll is going to go, but I know that you all agree with me, so I'm putting the poll in to sort of basically see what you all see. Since the video on Friday, firstly, I want to say thank you so much to the majority of people who gave it a very good reception, who were very kind, who supported me, all the rest. I will say now, I don't usually address abuse, abusive tweets, abusive YouTube comments, whatever else. But the amount of comments I've gotten, like this one, and there's an extremely vicious slur that I've actually hidden behind Jay's camera there. The amount of abuse that I have had since Friday is the most vicious and vitriolic I have ever had, ever, for anything. Let me give you a little bit of context here on my history. I spent my entire university life and the entire first few years of my career dedicated to protecting my people, the Jewish people, fighting against anti-Semitism in my university, in my life, in my career, in the politics that I was in the political party that I was involved in. The abuse I have received in the last 48 hours has been more vicious than any of that. It has been the worst I have ever gotten. And I'm so glad that I've had a long time to learn to get used to this kind of stuff. Because it would have been a lot more difficult to deal with a few years ago. I'm a lot better at just switching it off, but I wanted to call it out. And this is the thing, is this comment on screen now, this is the same guy. He came back into this stream tonight. He came back into this stream tonight to threaten me again. 95% of you say this finished too high. There we go. But I want to ask you, to the people, if any, because I know there are a few of you watching, because I've been seeing you commenting in the comment section. What was it about me talking about my personal identity and my Judaism that made you so much more eager to attack me in the last 2 days? If you're one of the people who've been posting those comments and you're watching it right now, you should really reflect on that and reflect on the morality of what is being done in yours and in my name right now. Because this kind of shit is, I mean, I've spent so long, genuinely, I don't see most of it. I don't read comments. I have Twitter notifications turned off. Most of the time when people mention, oh, I saw this, this person or whatever saying mean things about you, the first thing I say is, oh, I hadn't seen it. Can you, because I don't check these things. I never check my notifications. I never check my held comments on YouTube. None of that. But I just want to say, how symptomatic of it, how broken do you have to be as a person to turn on and abuse the people who in the same breath you will claim as your own, in the same breath you will claim that your state is representing? Because there's no insinuation in this world that I find more offensive than the idea that the Israeli state and what it is doing is representing or defending me and my interests in any way. With that in mind, I would suggest that they go back and read the religious texts, the same ones that I was raised with, because it's the same ones as them, and maybe focus on trying to follow what is written in them a little better. As for, now that I've got that out, I feel so much lighter now. I'm going to bring you both back in. Obviously, we were all shitting ourselves. Obviously, it can never happen again. Like this, because it's just so obviously ridiculous. The only thing I really want to focus on, and then we're going to move on. How relieved were you? Explain your feelings at the moment where this didn't win. When I'll put it on screen. I'll put something nicer on screen. There we go. When this happened, how did you feel? Relief?
Words can't describe. Well, yeah, I guess words can describe. No, but it's if it didn't go the way we wanted it to,
that would have been it.
Yeah, a whole chunk of our lives would have just been ripped apart. So yeah, this the relief I felt is a huge weight off my shoulders,
Got him? Same feelings?
I was relieved as well. I mean, yeah, we were together when this happened, and up until the split screen, I was like, guys, don't worry, it's not gonna happen. Up until it actually started looking like it might happen. So when that happened, when Austria won, I was just relieved. but I was conflicted at the same time because I really don't like Wasted Love. So, but obviously, like the bigger
At this moment, it was so funny.
One.
It was so funny. It was the same with Tommy Cat. Like, I remember making this joke to all of you at the same night. Like, things got so bad, we all found ourselves rooting for Tommy Cash. Like, and Gotham, you've never liked this song. And obviously in that moment, just like all of us, you were like, oh, fucking please just let it be Austria. And you know what? So much credit to JJ, who in the week since has come out and said that he doesn't believe Israel should be in the contest, and then received an enormous amount of abuse, an enormous amount of flack in the Austrian press and in the Austrian political sphere, because the political discourse in Europe on this issue is still just so cooked. It's ridiculous. It's changing little by little, and we've seen some promising things, like that people are starting to actually properly engage with this in the last week or two. But like, it's insane that all he did was say, I am uncomfortable with this country that is committing war crimes being in this contest. Totally reasonable opinion. And he got absolutely cooked for it. It was a disgrace. But Jay, as I think probably you like this song, don't you? What was it do you think made this song a winning contender?
I think honestly his voice.
Yeah.
He's so consistent when singing this song. I think he's always hitting the high notes. He is yeah.
Thanks. I thought it was his best performance. His lower register was quivering during the week, but in the final dead set, I also loved that little growl he does just before the final 30 seconds. I think it gave it this sort of visceral quality. I think that won a lot of votes. Gotham, I saw you nodding your head. What do you think?
I mean, he is consistent with the vocal, and I did like the growl. To me, this song still feels a bit insincere and a bit manufactured and a bit plastic. But you know what? Like, it was either puppies for everyone or explosive diarrhea. So I would rather go with the puppies.
I think everyone agrees, because 60% of people say just right. And thank you again. I just want to say quickly, thank you to Cannabis for saying thank you for speaking out, not being afraid to share your opinion. No, I should have this planet. I mean, I'd happily say it. After 2024, there were people who. Thank you very much, Nastya, for the super chat. I appreciate that so much. There are people who, and another one. Thank you so much, Nastya. That's two. There are people who don't speak to me anymore. Who were previously good friends of mine over this. So it's not been at no personal cost, but at the same time, you know, when something very awful is happening, it does, you know, there are certain things, they reach a point where it completely turns, it almost makes redundant everything you thought you knew about something before, when something is just so blatantly awful. Anyway, that's not what the stream is about. And we've obviously gone through them all now. And the summary is thank fuck. I just want to go off because we only have a few more minutes left, and I want to end up on a positive note. I do want to quickly say, obviously, Gotham, you can share all your channel details in a minute so everyone can go subscribe to you. I do want to quickly say there's going to be another video this Friday, which is going to be a Eurovision winners and losers video. There's going to be another video the week after where I'm going to tell you everything I got wrong this season. That could be quite a long one because it's a lot. But I'm going to take out the highlights of some of my most ridiculous takes. Obviously, the Lithuania one is going to be among those. Make sure you're following. Make sure you subscribed. Make sure also check in the description. There's a check. Actually, no, it's not in the description. So I'm going to have to post it later. In my most recent video, if you look in the description, you will find a link to a second channel. There's going to be some stuff coming there soon. I'm still in the early planning stages, but I want to do some other stuff too, but I don't want to do it on a Eurovision channel because here I just want the Eurovision stuff. Jay McHugh, Luke, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that. Now, I want you to pick 1, 2, 3, however many moments you want, your highlights of Eurovision season. Jay, I'm going to go to you first and then Gotham and then I'll close.
My highlight. Well, the whole season.
That's not a highlight. You've got to pick something.
No, I mean like.
Yeah, the whole
we're talking
season.
about the whole
Anything.
season, not just Eurovision.
You could talk about Montesong if you wanted to.
Okay. Going to Estilal, definitely.
That
That
fun.
was so much fun. What else was a highlight?
You know what? You need a moment to think. Got him. We're coming to you. We're going to come back to you, Jay.
Okay, I will have to start with going to the Irish national final Eurosong, both with Gabe and Jay as well. That was insane, and it was such a nice experience. Then doing the London Eurovision pre-party and getting the flights 24 hours before it actually happened, thanks to that guy over there, that mining right now. That was. I will not get too into it because I'll get emotional, but it was such a highlight. And third one is honestly probably stepping into the Eurovision arena for the first time and watching the jury show, because it was my 10th year anniversary of following the contest this year, and just getting to go inside the arena and see the stage in real life and actually watch the performance and see how everything is happening still does not seem real to me. So yeah, but overall it has been a great Eurovision preseason despite the last 15 minutes of the grand final.
Jay, if you had any other thoughts.
LEP, Gotham just reminded me, doing getting to do like press stuff for that was really fun. And yeah, I met a lot of great people. And then another one, probably Eurosong.
Right, I'm going to do
to
mine
Ireland.
now. Jay, you get an F for this task.
What do you mean?
I have a few. I think the stream with Vis Minus and Vibe was ridiculous. Just chaos. I loved it. I remember we planned to go for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it was 4.5 hours long. I remember doing karaoke and all that stuff. That was hilarious. Danny says highlight thing was Denmark and Latvia qualifying, Aubergine Gate, and Kant winning the Malta national final. When Kant won in Malta, we were jumping around the room, yelling. We couldn't believe it. That was one that definitely stuck out for me. I have to say obviously, like doing the streams, like being nervous and sort of out there on my own for Eurovision, no accreditation, just going, setting up, being like, maybe people will show up, and doing the streams the whole week, super special. And that was that was really amazing. So yeah, there will be more streams. I don't know whether we're not going to do every week all year, like on Eurovision. That would make no sense, but there'll be other stuff over summer. It would be fun to play like some games or something at some point, like with some of you guys too. Join the Discord though as well. Links in the description, because if that's gonna happen, the details will be there first. So yeah, and the Garg thing was really funny. I'll add that as my last one. With that, Gotham, why don't you tell people where they can find you quickly, and then I'm gonna wrap things up.
You can follow me on. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. A new video is coming soon. If you fancy a deep dive into the messages and the lyrics of Eurovision songs, and if you're into stupid ADHD editing, just brain rot, you will enjoy my channel, I think. And obviously, if you're a hater like I am, so make sure to go and subscribe.
It is actually,
and you
as
can
well,
follow me on Twitter. But
with Gotham Gotham videos, even if you disagree with him, it's a really entertaining hate watch. So even if you dislike him, you'll still enjoy it. Like I hate him, for example, and I still enjoy his videos. I'm kidding, I love you, Connor. But what I will say is, I'm not saying goodbye because you're all going to see me on Friday and the Friday after. So things aren't over. Don't worry. We'll do another stream maybe in a couple of weeks. I'd love to do like a look back stream with like an artist or two. Like just sit and go over things and be like, hey, you've had a month to decompress now. Let me see if I can set it up because I've got a few connections. We'll see what we can do. I am going to say for now, like I said, make sure to like the video. Make sure to follow on all the various social medias. Subscribe to the channel. I will say now, let me get the thing up quickly. So, in the last stream, I celebrated the fact that I had gotten to 40,000 subscribers. My screen is not on show right now, so none of you will see that. Give me a moment. I was like, wow, 40,000 subscribers. That's amazing. You people are insane. It's been 1 week, guys. 1 week. So thank you so much. If you haven't already subscribed, if you do it now, you'll see this number go up on screen after you do it. For now, I'm going to ask you both to wave. We will see you all again in 5 days' time. And yeah, I'm going to look forward to it. My brain is not working. I'm going to go and have mojitos and play Stardew Valley with my girlfriend. I hope you all have a very nice night. I've had a very nice night. Let's do this again very soon. Sending you